You're crushing your notebook.
I'm crushing on Ian, dude. No, I crushed this Danimals Crush Cup. Welcome back to the Spaghetti and Meat Boys podcast, the only podcast that is the center of Jerusalem. We are the three Texas boys minding their own business. Of course, I am your host, as always, Winston Churchill. To my right, in person, thank God, is Winston Rifle. And then over Zoom, joining us from not the Lone Star State, drinking the Lone Star beer, but the Peachtree State. Winston Cigarettes. Yeah. I see you. You already got it right there. And obviously our mission, not only to lead the children of Israel, but also unfold justice, just as it was told. But yeah, how are you boys doing today?
Just as it was told.
Yeah, that one might have been a little too obtuse. A little too niche.
Yeah. But I like it. I like it too. Wasn't expecting.
We were all named Winston. Jared's just over here like not understanding what the fuck.
Hey man, I liked it either way. Because I like you.
And cigarettes.
And cigarettes.
And
I
cigarettes,
do like cigarettes.
Winston cigarettes. Well, you were Winston Rifles.
Oh, no.
I was Winston Churchill.
Well, you know how much I love guns.
That's just the order they go in the song. You remember Live to Experience,
right?
The Texas Jerusalem Crossroads?
No. Oh, the band that he showed
with the weird ass album cover.
I never actually listened to that. I'm sorry.
That's
Dude,
okay.
it's so good. It is fucking fantastic. It's a great album. It's cinema. It is pure cinema. Wait. Anyway.
You ever listen to Newfound Glory?
Dude, I would choose probably my friends over Newfound Glory, like every time. Anyway, speaking
that's a pretty low bar, Jared.
Oh, what are you talking about, dude? The Squeakquel is like top 3.
Oh, I thought you meant friends, like just like your friends in general, like hanging out.
It was a Newfound Glory joke, but it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, don't I have egg on my face?
Yeah, it's a little above your head there, Ian. Cause,
yeah.
They came out
I got a tall head, so
after 1984. So.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, speaking of cinema, which we've moved on from, I think is that Lucas in the background?
Have we finally moved on from cinema?
No.
Oh.
We're moving into cinema. In the same way, has Lucas moved into your place?
Yes, he has. He's walking right behind me right now.
You were correct, Jarrett.
Did you
He's got a shirt that
I
says,
heard it.
Lucas
what?
in the background. Ugh.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Aren't you
Nice.
unemployed, dog?
He was an essential worker.
I mean, who's really the judge?
He says being unemployed makes it funnier.
Yeah, it does. I think that
It does.
does.
Aren't you unemployed?
Yeah, I am, but I'm not wearing a fucking t-shirt that says I'm not.
Actually, you're wearing a t-shirt that says you are.
That actually is 100% true, but I love that Lucas is finally joining us in 2012 when ironic graphic tees are all the rage. On this anime bracket, we've already done the top half. We've done our first round bye for the second half. We're looping back up to the top, and I'll put a visual image on screen in editing to show you. But we're looping back up, and we're just going to be talking about one film today. Because we're a little late on some things. We've been pretty busy, but we're going to talk about the Satoshi Kon film from 2006, his last feature. Rest in peace, Satoshi Kon. Paprika, or Paprika for you Westerners. But would anyone like to do the plot synopsis for Paprika?
Oh.
Ian exists.
Paprika is a film from 2006. Yeah,
Correct.
it's about a hot, strong business lady who works as a scientist, and she's a doctor, and she's smarter than everybody else. And she works in this psychoanalysis ward where they make experimental technology with this big fat guy who's a genius but also a kid. Together, they create a technology that lets you jump into people's brains, totally copying Inception.
For sure.
And she also sort of midnights Moonlights as
Gaslights.
She gaslights as a
She low-key
a
do, though.
hot young thing who's playful and like goes into people's dreams as a dream detective and figures shit out for them. Anyway, the technology gets stolen
Oh, yeah.
and it's used against the people who made it for the uses of good.
No.
And people are drawn into this terror nightmare dream world by an unknown source who has stolen this technology, a sort of dream terrorist. And they're trying to beat him back to free not only their friends, but also prevent a future disaster for the misuse of this technology. And it involves lots of escapades through dream worlds, the real world, and both as they sort of overlap into each other, and climaxes in a sort of a mishmash melting pot of dreams in action in different settings and cinema. Also, it's got a lot of cinematic references in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys heard all that?
Yeah, we were listening.
No, okay. I'll start from the no, that's it.
So it's about this sassy, spunky businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
This hot young thing who don't take no shit.
Yeah, but anyone, Jarrett, would you like to start with the initial reactions? Because Ian gave the synopsis. He needs to wait his turn.
Yeah, I can. I liked it. I may. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. It was pretty good. And pretty shut your fucking it was
Sorry, everybody.
pretty trippy. I like trippy movies. It was a good time. I watched it with Kaylee. This is the first film of the bracket that I've watched with Kaylee. Obviously, I've been, in another realm for last 3 months, so it's good to be back. And she fell asleep.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
ironic.
she is I know
narcoleptic.
she's a full-fledged otaku, and I think she just put into a coma from how.
Well, she's also narcoleptic.
Really?
Really? No.
Really?
Classic Ian.
I could buy it.
He fell for it.
I fell for it too. Oh, dude. I was
Oh
like,
my
man.
gosh.
No,
I
she's
buy it,
not
dude.
Egg
narcoleptic.
on my face again.
I go through stages of insomnia. Like I could see
No.
narcolepsy happening to like.
No offense to those who are narcoleptic. I'm
No
sorry.
offense.
Much
Fuck
to the
you guys, dude.
narcoleptic community.
Dude, imagine just falling asleep whenever. This post made by the Insomnia gang, bro. Fucking narcolepsy. We hate narcoleptics here.
It was a good movie. Thought it was I appreciate it. It was similar to, I guess, Your Name in that I kept thinking it was going to go a certain way and then it diverted to the other way. I do have an opinion on what Paprika is, and
Like the character or the film?
the character.
Okay,
The character.
okay,
Sorry.
okay.
And sorry, her. What more? I guess what you said we can dive into.
Yeah, we'll do
her
that
role.
after initial
I know. I'm
reactions.
just saying.
but
I'm
yeah.
just saying. Yeah, and my favorite scene. I didn't shed any tears. My favorite scene was when the short doctor, the old guy, when they first realized that they can hack people's dreams from anywhere, and he starts just spouting off some nonsense, and it just jumps out the window. And
I mean,
that shit was.
he was like in a delusion.
I know. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying because I.
Okay, I thought you were like saying because he like heard like, oh no, we can hack people's brains. He went crazy.
No.
Oh,
Because
okay,
purely
yeah.
because before the next scene, they were like, "Oh shit, they can do this from anywhere." Anybody who's been exposed to it is and then Kaylee was awake for that part, and we were both just like, "What the actual fuck is going? Is this the translation or what's going on?" But yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
It does take a minute. I felt to like adjust to like, wait, what the fuck is going on in this
Yeah,
movie?
we watched it in English too. The dub kind of sucked. I'm not
Really?
gonna lie.
Why would you watch it in English?
Because Kaylee.
Dude, I'm almost positive you. And you know me, like I'm a dub defender for sure. But like
Yeah.
Satoshi Kon films, no.
I looked it
Never.
up. There isn't an official dub.
No.
So I don't know whose fucking dub we watched, but it was good.
It was probably the limit. I know Sony Pictures did a limited release in the US.
Okay, yeah, it was.
And they probably just did a quick thrown together dub.
Yeah, it wasn't unbearable, but it was pretty bad.
No, so it would default to the dub. So when I went back to watch it, like I heard a few lines and shit. I was like, but yeah, no, I'm a big like Satoshi Kon never go for the dub because
Well, I wanted Kaylee to watch it with me.
Yeah, that's fair. You should go back and rewatch it with the sub. I think you'll like it more. Ian, would you like to go next on initial reactions, or do you want me to go?
That's up to you.
All right. Well, I'll go because like I'm tired of hearing your voice. I'm sorry, dude. Okay, Ian, I need to stop being so mean to you. Like,
no, come on,
honestly,
bring it on. I can take it.
I know
You're
can get
stupid.
I'll hash back. That's fine.
Dude, no, I know, but I just like
It's just-
I should get emotional lately, bro, and I just really love my friends, but then I'm always you fucking.
no, you gotta
stop
come.
me, like, no.
The
All
hammer's
right,
coming.
that's fair. When I first watched it, I had mixed feelings because, and it's entirely my fault. As any longtime viewers, I said long time, as any repeat viewers or people who have maybe stumbled across this or have known me in real life or have heard probably any story about me, you know I'm a fucking asshole. Like I'm a pretentious ass douchebag, especially when it comes to media. So it's not surprising that this one is all my fault. I know usually I'll be like, this movie was bad, but like this one, like it was all me. And like I don't think any of my criticisms were founded in any form of like legitimate analysis. I am a huge Satoshi Kon film fan. Fuck. I love especially, and we'll get to this later in the bracket, but spoilers, I fucking love Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue has this element of mystery and like kind of like it's trippy and it's like what is real. It blends just like this movie, which Satoshi Kon does a lot, blending like reality and dreams and being like, what is real? Like, can we even figure this shit out? And so like you watch Perfect Blue and you're like, this is the most confusing thing of all time. And then you look back on it immediately and you realize like visually the entire plot was told to you. Like who was real and what was reality and what was a dream and what was hallucination was like visually shown in the most obvious ways. But it was done so masterfully that you didn't even notice this. It was subconscious until you look back on it. So I went into Paprika knowing that it was another one of his blending dreams and reality, because we've already done Tokyo Godfathers, and that one was a little bit more lighthearted. So I was like, bet I'm ready to find what visual cues is he going to use, because he's known for his unique style, heavy match cuts, great transitions. Kind of awkward lighting in a way to where like lighting comes from unreal places and then like ways that he like flows reality and I guess not reality. I can't say dreams for all of his movies. So I was looking for that. And I spent so much time trying to find that while watching the movie that I ended up not retaining the fucking movie and not like enjoying myself. And so all I saw was like, was that bad? Thankfully, like I thought about it for a little bit after I watched it, and I was like, okay, I can't say it's good because like I absolutely flubbed it watching it. Like but I'm not gonna say it's bad. I think I really went in with some preconceptions. So I decided I watched it again today, actually, just to prepare for this, because like I promised myself I was gonna watch it again without. So I left all those at the door. And I loved it. I think anything I had an issue with was kind of gone. It just feels like a dream. And I think that's the coolest thing. It's like not everything has to fucking make sense. And I'm not saying things don't make sense, because I did notice a lot more this time around when I wasn't looking for it. But it does really feel like a dream in a way to where, sure, from shot to shot, like it flows super well, but like it doesn't make sense how we got here, and like we're kind of just accepting things that maybe weren't shown to us. But like if you've ever dreamed, that like settings just change. People just morph. Things are told to you, and you wake up from a nightmare or from a dream. You're like, why the fuck did I think that was real? I believed with my whole heart that this dream, like, I was flying and fucking I forgot my underwear, when I was at school and all this shit. Like, you're like, why would that ever, all these things, why would those ever be true when you think about it rationally? But dreams are just this entire different world where you'll believe fucking anything. And so I really liked it more this time around. So I do think it was a good movie. But I'll stop because I've been going for a minute. And get into like the thematics a little bit later. But if Ian, you want to go ahead and go with what you thought of this film.
I'm glad you liked it because I liked it a lot too. I liked the fantastical elements of it.
Wait, hold up. You're glad that I liked it, and you're glad that Jarrett liked it only because you picked it to be our favorite.
I actually forgot about it until you started saying that you didn't like it at first, and I was like, "Fuck!" I remembered that. Fuck,
I didn't mean to cut, or I definitely meant to cut you off, but like not.
Did I pick it? I didn't pick it for both of you, did I?
You did. Jarrett has it on his phone. You had told me that he picked it for both of us, right?
I think I picked something different for Jarrett.
You picked what we hated, what we were gonna hate the most in the future, different for us, but you picked.
Okay.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
Yeah, you said both of us Paprika at the top, and then Jinro, me at the bottom, and for Houston, Whisper of the Heart.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to derail on that one, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
I liked all the characters and how different they were. I liked the transitions. I liked the references and the sort of homages to just cinema at large. I liked how colorful it was, which I appreciate in an anime movie. When you can do an anime movie and you can make any colors you want when it's all gray and drab, usually I don't like it as much. You can do it right, of course, but it didn't it wasn't one of those ones that hit me in the gut in a way that like, whoa, this is the one for me. So it's not like a chart topper for me, but I still liked every part of it, and I liked that it left me questioning a lot of things. I thought it was funny. There are some sort of questionable, like, you see, like, what's going on? Like, you sort of raise an eyebrow, like, what does that mean? What's happening right here?
Yeah.
But that was part of the, I guess, uniqueness of it.
Yeah.
But I liked it a great deal. I liked the way it was very grand in the dreams, and it was very genial, I guess, in the human parts of it.
Okay.
It felt like a really nice film that was more complex than it. It could have been sillier. Could have
been Inception. I mean, am I right, guys?
Yeah.
Honestly,
they came close. They just ripped the whole thing off.
I mean, yeah, for sure, dude. He ripped off Black Swan first with Perfect Blue, dude. Now he's ripping off Inception, dog. Like Satoshi Kon.
When will it end? When will he die?
He ripped off Elf with Tokyo Godfathers.
All right, chill, bro.
When
it's all fun and games, but don't talk about Satoshi.
I've got no respect for a cheater.
I do love him a lot, and it's really sad how his life was cut short, which I do want to talk about pretty soon here, but I actually got a whiz, so you guys keep the ball rolling real quick.
No, I've got nothing. I've got nothing in the chamber except piss. That's what I got.
Well, meet me in the piss chamber then.
All right, I'll meet you there, Jarrett. You hold the ship down.
I will.
So coming back from the massive piss break we just took.
So what I was discussing with the silhouette was what I told you about the other day. Satoshi Kon's quote of saying, I would rather watch a film. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just got a little bit of a lag, that's all.
Okay. The quote from Satoshi Kon was, I would rather watch a movie where 70% of it I understand and 30% of it is up to interpretation than a movie where I understand all of it. What I was saying was I agree, and I was shitting on The Secret World of Arrietty because it's all there and it's all boring. And I used an extreme example as well for a movie I don't understand, which is Synecdoche, New York.
See,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
what you don't understand is that Secret World of Arietti is an experimental masterpiece.
Right.
Dude, were they experimenting with how to make me like fucking pissed? Because they definitely succeeded.
All I thought was when I got to the end of Synecdoche, New York, was like, it's a little cut and dry, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's a little, yeah, okay, I get it. That's fine.
All
okay.
right, dude.
You love her.
I
you
remember
love
my
people, you're
first
sad,
English class
you know.
and the symbolism.
But
All
the
right.
Secret World of Arietti, you get to the end, you're like, whoa.
Okay,
Who are these people?
Charles
What just
Kaufman.
happened? Is this real life?
I
mean, think about it.
Yeah, no. When I got to this end of the Secret World of Arietti, I was like, I don't understand, dude. Like, is the warehouse inside the warehouse inside the warehouse? And like,
did you ever think about that?
Was it his life? Is this
Did you ever think about how
purgatory?
there's a little house inside the house? I mean, like, no one's ever thought of that.
Oh my god! And the mom's like a hypochondriac. Yo,
Exactly. Think
Synecdoche,
about
New
it.
York, and Arietti confirmed the same film.
Same universe, same film.
The Secret World of Synecdoche, New York Cinematic Universe. Coming this fall to Disney Plus only.
Yes. Anyways, that was all I said, and I want to really quickly say, that meme template where it's the soldier like taking bullets from the top left.
The Silent Protector.
Yes, the Silent
Yeah.
Protector. I was thinking you should definitely do for the outtakes clip the
This is all
Ian
standing.
protecting fucking Crystal
Are you
from
sure?
like from Logic with fast food restaurants.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's gonna be in the outtakes, dog?
I assumed
staying
it
in.
was.
What are you fucking talking about?
Actually,
dude?
this part's
Oh.
this part's staying in.
At least.
Okay,
At least.
sorry.
No.
No.
That's good. That's good. We'll cut that part out, and that way we're gonna talk about it here, and we're gonna mention the outtakes. That's called calls to action. That's giving our viewers something else to go watch because we're gaming the algorithm here. But speaking of gaming the algorithm, DreamWorlds, DC
Speaking
Mini,
of gaming the algorithm.
Paprika.
Fuck.
Ian, is that something prolific and profound that you're trying to say about Paprika?
No.
Okay. So anyway,
Well, maybe.
I guess
fat fuck. That's something.
he was monstrously fat, which I do think, and I guess I can start there. I think that was intentional. I mean, obviously it was intentional. They drew him that way, but not only him, but like
Was it intentional? Do you think?
well okay,
That he was comically overweight.
No.
That he got stuck in the elevator. You know,
Yeah.
maybe that was just like a miscue there.
Shut up. I'm saying the fact that like
I mean, I thought he looked almost like a normal person, maybe just a little chubby or something. But I don't know
Yeah.
if they really meant that.
They actually ran out of budget. They normally had butter on set whenever he gets stuck between a rock and a hard
normally
place
they
to
did.
get him out.
They ran out of
Okay.
budget. Normally, there's a big budget for like the background that they have to animate, but they're like, let's just make him really big and just take it all up. We don't
All
have to
right.
do
Put
it.
details
Look.
on his obesity.
I know they intended for him to get caught between a driveway and a freshly dug pit. I understand. But I'm saying the fact that like all of the character models were one starkly different from each other, two incredibly simple, and three very, very different from the background. But I mean, Satoshi Kon, like, and we've seen Tokyo Godfathers, and we'll see Millennium Actress and Perfect Blue later on in this bracket if you guys haven't already seen them. But I can say at least with certainty that Perfect Blue is the same way. Like the backgrounds are so close to like looking real as fuck. Like, I mean, obviously not like 3D filmed and shit, but he does paint very, very realistically, or hyper real, or photo real, I guess would be the best way to put it. But then those character models, especially in Paprika, were so basic, but also like so different from each other.
Yeah.
And I think that was interesting because I do think a large theme that is played into here is like not only dreams and reality and like what we want versus like what we're ashamed of, but also our relationship with media. And this is coming from somebody who like rose up during rose up, I guess, in directing films during the turn of the century, and so it's 2006 at this point. Like, so he's kind of seen what the internet has become, and he's also been in the film industry for years and years and years. And so like in our relationship to media, and like I think it was cool that like all the characters were like super fucking simple, so they stood out from the backgrounds, and they could be boiled down to like one trait almost entirely, and usually that would be a way to detract from a film. I wondered that when the first time I watched it, like, why is he this fucking fat? Like, was it really just to get him stuck in an elevator once? Like, because like it really serves no other purpose. But like that's not the point, you know, to me, and I think it's a little hyper realized, but I know that was a lot for just throwing things into this, and I do think I have more to say about that. But
there are other times when I was wondering why is that way?
Like what?
Like when the chubby lab assistant was gay, or that he made dolls, or when
I'm glad you noticed he was gay too.
How could I not?
I mean, yeah, but
but
did you notice that early on though, or
yeah, like at the very
okay,
as soon as he were in his apartment and they flashed past the I guess it's hard to say if it's like yaoi because it's the whole thing is animated. It could just be.
I figured it was just like gay mag, like Playboy,
something like that. Yeah,
Hustler or some shit. Yeah,
but it's all Japanese, so it's all a little more nuanced and there's a twist. But
it's a little more pedophilic. Okay,
there was one of the little things. There was a very large person and there was a very small person. I did notice that the discrepancy there.
I know you were into that.
That's another thing. Like there's like at the final scene where everyone is dreaming, right? And then some people turn into like short-skirted schoolgirls, and some people turn into cell phones, and the cell phones lean down under the screen. And I go like, okay, what's that? What is that? What does that mean? What's going on here? There were a few things like that where I was sort of like, is there a thing behind this, or is this just a thing? Is this just a part of the world we're supposed to inhabit?
I think what I would say is anything involved in the parade.
In the parade, yeah, probably.
In the parade, and I think that they join the parade. Like the humans would turn into parade things. If you noticed, like they were all colorful and childlike, and they stood out from everything, but also they looked like things, maybe not everything, but things that Westerners idolize about like Japanese media and culture, like, or maybe not even just Westerners, but Japanese
like refrigerators
people.
And mailboxes.
Not just that, but like the dolls and the figurines and the
But there was a Statue of Liberty, and there was a suit of knight's armor.
Yeah, I just think it was kind of more representative of the way that like people consumers of media.
I could see that.
In a way, and I mean the national market is a lot of times based in the United States. In a way, like that market is always at least taken into account. The national
market is usually
or not national, international market. Sorry. But yes, like that, the USA is a big market for even foreign created things, you know what I mean? Not everywhere, but sorry. I know you had your hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the hand.
That's okay. So I was going to say I read. I was reading. So there, it seems that Kon spoke a lot about this movie. I don't know about the other. I didn't find much about Tokyo Godfathers, but at least this one. So he was asked about the parade. Why is it a parade specifically? And his response was that ultimately he wanted something that could eventually amalgamate and be representative of everyone's subconscious. So what's something that everybody recognizes and would instantly know and would instantly join in and come together? And so he settled on a parade. So the parade, especially in the end, when everyone starts joining it and everyone's, amalgamating into it, it's like we're currently blending dream with reality, and everybody's subconscious is joining together completely in the middle. And I thought that was really cool. Because I one of the things I was like, I wonder why it's a parade. It seems very specific and very intentional that it's a parade.
Well, if you find out
Yes,
who
I
was
love that.
controlling, like who stole the DC Mini and who was controlling the dream, was who?
Fucking old guy.
The
Or
old guy,
saying-
the chairman.
The literally the chairman.
The chair.
Got
I
him.
wrote that shit down. That shit was funny. But-
me and Lucas were joking together. Like they were talking about the chairman, and then he came in. I was like, "Wouldn't it be hilarious if he was the chairman?" And it was like, "Hello, chairman." And we were like, "Ah."
Some Professor X ass bullshit. But yeah, but he was the chairman, but also like a parade. A fucking parade, and like it was not a motorized parade. Like everyone was walking. I don't know if that was necessarily intentional. I do think what you were saying, like that interview with Kon, and it would be almost impossible to pour through every interview that he did.
That's why it's fun, man.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I can't hear you.
No. Can you not hear Jarrett?
No, I heard him like just 5 seconds after.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
sorry.
lagging a little bit. It's all good.
Well, it was, no,
It's fine.
I don't forgive you, Jared. Okay.
But like Satoshi Kon, like when this movie premiered, so I watched like the behind the scenes, like the making of and shit. Like apparently, like after it got, because it was nominated for the Golden Lion or whatever at the Venice Film Festival where it premiered, and he did like 60 interviews in like a day or two. Like people would not shut the fuck up because like I mean a lot of critical.
Oh, I see how it is. He loves the
reception.
spotlight.
Yeah.
Little narcissist, huh?
No, he's actually. So that's what I did want to say is he's one, the most wholesome motherfucker on the planet. Two, his life was cut way too short. Like so he died in 2010, and he was working on, this is kind of interesting, a movie called Dreaming Machine, which I know at the end of the movie.
Kids?
At the end of the movie, she was like, "Hey, go watch this movie called Dreaming Kids." But he was working on a movie called Dreaming Machine, and it's actually still in production, but they've halted it like for years and years because they got a lot of it done, and he was diagnosed with like a terminal pancreatic cancer, and he had about 6 months to live. So he did make tapes and stuff for the staff, like giving them direction on what he wanted, and he didn't tell the public that he was sick. And then he made like a post to his blog or something, like a video being like, I was ashamed to tell everyone that I'm sick, and I thought it'd be better to tell everyone after I passed. So people were like fucking shocked. But they've just, the producer, I guess, like it was almost given to Mamoru Hosoda like years later. And they were like, we know he would do a great job, but it would be a Mamoru Hosoda film, and we want it to be a Satoshi Kon film. So they're still the producers.
So they were trying to keep true to his image?
Yes. So they've considered just scrapping it and putting it in, or not scrapping it, but making a documentary about his life and using the footage in the documentary that they had already done or done based on his instruction. But like his style was so unique, but it's been open since 2010. Like the production has never truly ceased. It's like slowed and halted a couple of times, but they're looking for someone who can emulate and capture his style in a way. But beyond that, like this was his last feature film, and watching him talk about it and talk about like I guess his relationship to the movie, it was kind of interesting to see him and in the production process talking about, he's like, part of me, wants to make everything like rigid, and the shit that I was talking about, that I went into it like with the perfect blue expectation of like everything being structured so fucking well and visually, and he's like, I want to go that. He's like, there are two sides to me. There's Satoshi Kon, like grounded.
There are two wolves inside of him.
There are two wolves. But the other one he calls Hoodlum Kon. Pretty much. And he's like, he just wants to do any idea that comes into his brain. He just wants a hoodlum, meaning like low class, like
I
just
know
like,
what. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah. Well,
I
it does.
just
I don't think it has the
Hoodlum
same
Kon.
connotation.
That's gonna be my name next episode.
Hoodlum Kon, yeah.
Kon.
And he was like, for Paprika, he was like, Hoodlum Kon took over, and I think that's a really cool like parallel. And he does mention it, but I think it was something that it just occurred to him. The duality between Atsuko or Achan or Chiba, whatever you want to call her, the main character, and Paprika being like, there's one of me who's like rigid and principled and follows the rules and is like level-headed, and then there's the other side of me that's like free and open and horny as fuck, like And so, yeah.
Did he use... This is completely irrelevant. Did he use the word hoodlum?
Yes. I mean,
really?
not in English, but a word that translates
That's what
to
I was
hoodlum.
wondering.
He described it as low
thug
class.
is the word you're looking
We can't
for,
hear you.
Ian.
Oh, sorry. What's up?
Was that Mr. Roboto?
Yeah, you just lagging hard, my guy.
Don't worry about it then.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Just speaking to Mike. Speaking.
It wasn't funny, Ian. It wasn't funny. Move on. It wasn't funny.
Okay.
Speaking to Houston's microphone.
No, it wasn't funny, so we're moving on.
No, I want to hear it. The viewers want to hear it.
The viewers want to hear it, Jared.
Lean over to Houston's mic. You guys are sitting right next to each other. Jared?
Yeah, what? Oh, what?
What were you saying?
Oh, I'm not going to say it. It's gone.
Yes, say it. Deliver that bang-ass joke. You just left. So now you have to talk it to Jared's Houston's microphone.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you gone, bitch.
You guys just cuddle up next to each other. Just talk to the same microphone. Come on. The viewers want to see it. They've been shipping you this whole time.
I mean, I know they be shipping me and Jared, so...
Oh, okay. There was actually something in his pocket, and I thought that you were maybe reaching a little too far.
No, his dick ain't that big. Come on, dog. I've seen it a billion times. It's not
I've
even
never
close.
seen it.
You've never seen Jared's dick? How are you friends with him?
Yes, you
dicks,
have.
bro. That shit's gay.
Yes, you have, dude.
Dude, that's like the least gay thing ever, is looking at dicks.
Dude, you've seen my dick.
I put a blindfold on
Come
and I do
on.
everything.
Ooh, that's gross.
Is it?
You ever seen that movie Thumbsucker? We'll get... No, I don't want to go on that shit, but yeah.
I've seen you, the dumb sucker.
To keep going on this shit, though, I think the film can be summed up, and I took a lot of notes, but I don't think I'll go through all of them. I liked at the end when they're going to like save the day, and like Paprika like shows up alongside Atsuko, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And she's like, "Desperate times to call for desperate measures." So anyway, they come to an impasse to where she's like, "We need to go stop this shit," and Atsuko's like, "No, I need to go save Tokita," or Fatso for those of you we haven't, yeah, Tokito, or Tokita, yeah,
chicken and beef.
Chicken. But so Paprika's like, "Nah, like we need to go fuck him. Like don't worry about him. We need to go stop this shit," pretty much. And Atsuko says, "Don't get ahead of yourself," to Paprika, and Paprika says, "Don't think you're always right." Right? And so like and clearly you see at like the end of the movie they have to come together and be reborn as like one person, to where like you can use both sides. And I think that's a big thing about if this movie is a conversation where like how do we see media and how do we ingest media, especially when it's like rapidly increasing with the age of the internet and being oversaturated and overmarketed, and just kind of like reality is like escapism is reality at this point, with the whole, a gigantic swirl of, I guess, obsession with anime.
This is 2006, though.
It's 2006, but like the internet existed, dog. What?
The internet was a very, very different place in 2006.
It was a very different place, but like
YouTube was probably founded, maybe not even been founded.
2005. YouTube.
I believe otaku culture was very big in Japan in the early 2000s, because that was like the. Am I lagging?
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good right now.
The because the 2000s is considered like the golden age of anime. So I believe specifically in Japan, obviously the US, wasn't. I mean, you had MySpace and LimeWire and shit, but I think, going to his point, I think it was like that if you were in Japan, I guess,
or even in America. Like there was, the mass media was on the rise, man.
Yeah,
like. But even so, like it can be predictive as well. Like it can be like, this is where we're heading. Like it does present a lot of, because the DC Mini, this like piece of technology, and even the chairman's like, it is man's job to control science and technology. Like if that's not what the current world was at the time, it could be more like fears of what's coming next. And you even see that in Sorry to Be a Typical fucking white guy right here. I apologize to anyone who will be offended by this, but I'm a huge. I love David Foster Wallace as an author. Maybe not all of his decisions as a person, but
my god, dude.
okay, I'm not one of those
so
I'm not one of those assholes who hasn't read him. Like I can walk over there and go pick up a few books by him.
Just
like,
go order your Starbucks, dude.
We've all
Just
got the
go
fucking
order
Infinite
your-
Jest paperweight, dude. Fucking
Go get your chocos.
I actually-
go order your Starbucks.
I actually do not have
Wait,
Infinite
yeah,
Jest.
go
I
hit
won't.
on your students.
I
that's
won't.
fine,
I won't
dude.
buy it until I know I can commit to like reading the whole thing. I've read some of it, but I'm not going to even give an opinion on it until I finished it. Yeah, I know. But yes, it's the most typical like white bro thing of all time. But you know,
No, it's not the most white. It's the most white.
Now, if you said
male
you loved-
manipulator shit.
If you said you loved Fight Club, like Fight Club was your favorite movie, that would have been.
Well, Fight Club's my favorite movie, and Radiohead's my favorite band, and David
Oh.
Foster Wallace is my favorite author. And sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
You
But
love the taste of Fireball.
I do love David Foster Wallace, but like even him, like in around this era, like the early 2000s, he was talking about like is like the way that television is just working and like movies are. He's like the internet, like it's great, but it also poses this huge problem that like we're just going to live our lives as spectators from now on. Like it's gonna suck us in, and like this is before the advent of most social media. I mean, like I guess, or maybe even the takeover. Like I know some were.
Exactly.
I think MySpace and
He was
Facebook
missing
had
that
just been
lifeline.
invented. But yeah,
Well,
like
he'd seen Twitter, maybe he'd still be alive.
no, I'm honestly I'm 99% sure he killed himself because he was correct, like about the way that like Twitter and shit like that was trending, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm dipping out." Like, I mean, it's kind of fucked up to speculate on why he killed himself, but whatever.
I don't think so.
No, but
I
he.
don't know.
It was one of those things. He's just like, this is where I see this headed. So I can see somebody like Satoshi Kon, like I've seen a lot of his movies, and he is one of the most intelligent writer and directors I've ever seen. Like not just in anime, but just of all time. Like I mean, clearly, like I mean, other than ripping off Inception, he as everything he's made is pretty solid. But I can see him being kind of like, let me address these fears that could become realized. So I can see kind of that, but I know the whole duality of both Paprika and Atsuko, but also the detectives like complete and total like fuck movies. I'm never gonna look at movies again, and like I don't know, yeah, just but all of this shit, and the chairman being like, we shouldn't. This technology is gonna be dangerous, but he gets so obsessed with protecting dreams that he makes dreams swallow up reality, and at the end, when Paprika kind of joins together with Atsuko, she's like, "Good job, Dark Lord," and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Or "Good job, Lord of Darkness," and she's just like, "I mean, it makes sense. Like life and death, light, dark, man and woman. It's things that like both contrast each other, but are complementary to each other. And so it's like one can't exist without the other, but they also exist as opposites. Maybe not man and woman, because I'm." Progressive leftist. So I believe like,
Thanks, sister.
yeah, men and men can be together. Like
Can
I
I
know
ask-
you should praise me. But other than that,
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah.
Yes, they make less, Ian.
For every $1, it's about 70 cents. No,
That's
what's
true.
your question, Ian?
That's the Titanic fee. But who sings "Can't Go Breaking My Heart" with Elton John?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Wrong.
Joel
woman.
Embiid.
Huh? Joel Embiid. Wow. Thanks, you guys. I
No,
really
who-
appreciate it.
Do you know? Or are you trying to quiz us?
No, I don't. No, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Juliet from Romeo and Juliet.
Is it Bette Midler?
It could be Bette Midler.
How
I mean,
old
she
Bette
is the
Midler?
wind beneath my wings. I don't. Why the fuck are you asking me this shit? What does this have to do with what I
It's
was fucking talking about?
complicated.
That's Avril Lavigne, not Bette Midler. guy, dude. This guy.
I'm
But anyway,
disappointed in both of you, honestly.
I think the resolve of the movie, or the resolve of Paprika, is like dreams and reality, like full escapism into dreams. And I think dreams can be used as like the idea of creation, like you know, delving like 100% as an escapist or an otaku or a weeb or whatever the fuck it is like unhealthy and detrimental and will swallow up the world. In a way which I think at the end of the movie, when dreams bleed into reality and the dude becomes the Dark Lord, like what happens to the city around it? It becomes gray and sucked of life, and low-key kind of a metaphor maybe for climate change and shit. But either way,
Yeah,
like
okay.
it's but it's like a very, very real consequences. Like the movie has always been,
okay.
the movie had been like dreams and reality of like this weird new like futuristic like therapy device, but like at that point it just looked like very much like our world in a way. But it's kind of like this escapism. It's okay sometimes. Like if you're gonna be completely rigid and not true to yourself, like Atsuko was, you're gonna like ignore your feelings and you're gonna let shame control you. You're gonna let like this logic of what's expected of you, drive you. But like if you're Paprika, you're just gonna be fucking like, I guess, flighty all the time and just like live in this idealized world that's like honestly detrimental. Like it literally degrades the people who stay in the dream world too long. Like they like Himuro died, like he fucking just got like his whole life drained out of him, pretty much. So I think it's like a nice blend of the two things. Is like our relationship to media. Media is not evil. Movies aren't evil. Anime isn't evil, but like the complete and total like obsession and like delve into this thing kind of is detrimental.
How do you relate that to the police officer's partner? Because I don't think, because he went deep into film and he died, but I don't think that it's reflected that he died because of his obsession.
I don't think that has anything to do with obsession. Like I know,
I disagree. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's not that. I don't think that plays into the themes whatsoever.
But it's but he became passionate about media, and he also died.
Media in the story, but I'm saying like the themes are about our relationship to media, not the plot. Like the dude dying had nothing to do with the themes and shit. It was just a plot device for the detective. Like that. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
But the chubby gay lab assistant, he was a victim. He gave up the machine because he was coerced.
He wasn't coerced. He blackmailed someone else.
He was bribed.
He was bribed. No, he was not brainwashed. The fucking what's his name? Osanai, the handsome lab guy, fucked him pretty much. Yeah. Like Paprika says, like, you sold your body for the DC Many.
And he's like, don't make me think about it.
Yeah,
but
pretty much. I don't know.
So in that within that context, I don't think that he was going into it too much. I think he was.
Are you talking about?
He was overcome in the same
friend,
way.
The detective's friend.
No. Lab assistant. I don't think he was overcome because he was going into it illegally too much. I think that's what they originally thought. But it turned out that he was just the first victim, in the same way that the professor was the victim. After him. Like
yeah, but are you talking Himuro, the chubby dude that died?
The chubby dude. I don't think the chubby dude was overindulging.
No, I'm not saying he was overindulgent in his own fantasy, but like they were using.
No, it's not about but
they
in
were
the media,
they were using him. They were using it. Like,
yeah.
I'm saying, like, physically, like, the movie tells us if you stay in the dream world too long, like, just as a plot reason, you're going to die, literally.
I got you. Not as an active decision or like I see what you mean.
I mean, it plays into a larger theme of being like, if you delve too far into escapism, you will lose yourself in a way. Like, you will become a shell of yourself. Like, Paprika literally flies through a hollow body of Himuro. But I don't think like it was supposed to say Himuro is participating in escapism. He was like, oh shit, like this dude will suck my dick if I, like let him and the chairman use the DC Mini, and that's and they just kept it on him for forever. He was passed out for forever, pretty much.
He used him, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Atsuko for that body positivity.
Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah,
I love.
Well, she was Okay, that's one thing I have a question. Was she ashamed of her attraction to him, or was she just nervous in the same way that any character is nervous for being
I don't know if it
attracted
was
to
necessarily shame of just the attraction to him, but allowing herself to be childlike in a way,
That's
to
a good
not
point,
be.
which was representative of Paprika, her sort of subconscious
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah, there's
What?
which is the other side of herself. I think that's the duality
Yeah,
between
the
the
other
two
side
of them. Is like
yeah.
the Paprika just like living on whims and inhibitions. Like, I mean, that opening montage with her, which is a fire ass montage, by the way. But like, she's like diving through the sky, and then she shows up on a billboard for like a beer advertisement, and then with like a man, and she's like jumping through people's t-shirts and just like running through the fucking traffic, like. Just
she uses her sexuality to sort of bring the professor out of the dream.
Yeah,
and stuff
sexuality,
like that.
confidence, just overall optimism. Her like she's so confident in herself, and everyone around her is confident in her. That's why the thing is like that is something. The whole movie, she distances herself from Atsuko distances herself from Paprika by referring to Paprika in the third person. And it's like she, and then I am different. But then at the end of the movie, finally, she was just like, and you could see hints at her like referencing the fact that she was Paprika early on. Like when Paprika shows up in a reflection, she's like, "Hey, you look tired. Do you want me to dive into your dreams?" And she's like, "I haven't seen my dreams lately." You could take that as like she hasn't been dreaming, or like she as Paprika hasn't been tending to her own needs. But it wasn't until the end of the movie where she ended up referring to herself as Paprika in a way.
Definitely. Everyone refers to Paprika in alternate sense.
So like she didn't allow herself to be part of that. So you're right, like sexuality or just confidence, and like the confidence that others have in her. You know what I mean? Atsuko is this cold and logical, and so that's why when she, has that flashback to him in the elevator, and she's like, "You're fucking fat, and you're disgusting, and you're a slob, and you're slow." And she was like, I thought it was cute too, but she was like,
"But it was a dream."
It was a dream, but it's like what matters is what's on the inside. But she even says, even there's a limit to that. And he goes, "I swallow everything," and she goes, "I know, and you're so much fun." Like that. That's what it was. I don't think she was necessarily. What? Yeah.
Nothing. Something about.
I don't know. She was just ashamed that he was fat. Like it was just like allowing him to be. He was entirely who he was. He was wholly himself, and she berates him for it. I guess in the workplace when she really allows herself to confront her feelings, for him, she's just like, "This scares me." It's not that he's fat. It's that he bends to his own inhibitions and will and what he wants to do, but he's also a fucking genius who can get shit done in a way. Like he is a blend of the childlike and the mature in a way. And I think she just allows it to be like, I like this, and I'm going to allow myself to have this by having you, I guess, is what I saw.
I can see that.
But yeah.
It makes sense to me. I saw it more in a surface level sense. But that's just the level. I only saw
to a degree there was some surface level romanticism there, but
yeah.
I mean even when she says the don't get ahead of yourself and don't think you're always right, when they have that and they're like, and Paprika's like, "Come on, don't worry about him, we gotta go," and she just turns around and runs after the robot version of Tokido. She goes, she's becoming her true self, right?
Yes, yeah.
Can't you see that? And so even though probably a lot of her actions are surface level, she is still self-actualizing by being me accepting you is me accepting me.
Yes,
in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah.
Me accepting you is me accepting my, just because I feel like I should be one way, just because I should feel like I should be uptight and professional and this or that or whatever, or strong or moving up the ladder or something. I should allow myself certain, not desires. That's not the bad, but allow myself to be who I really am.
I think desires is fine. Inhibitions, just any kind of just what do I want? Yeah. No, I will say I do think it was intentional that Adonis found the gay porn.
Ooh. I found what?
The gay porn in that dude's,
His
he
name
was
wasn't
the one.
oh, you're calling him Adonis. I thought you were okay.
So I thought that was really interesting, the fact that like when Paprika goes into this shared dream, right?
Yes,
And
I
she
was gonna
finds
mention that too.
that glass, and it breaks down, and she
Oedipus,
goes into
right?
like the real, before that, right before that.
Okay.
She goes to a real dream, and she's winding through all these streets, and there's a bunch of dolls of the fat dude, and then there's a giant statue of Adonis, or sorry, Osanai.
How do you know it's Adonis?
I'm just using it as a euphemism for sexy, ripped dude. But yeah, Osanai was his name. And when I first watched it, I was like, this must be his dream where like he's the god. But it wasn't. It was Himiro's dream. And that makes sense because they were like, they were siphoning his dream. Like they used the DC Mini on him to create this dream that everyone else's dream got. So that's why they all thought it was, fat chubby dude's dream at first. But then they realized it really, he wasn't in control of it, even though it was his dream. So I thought it was interesting because like, and then that sets it up for later when she's like, you sold your fucking body. How did she know that? Because she saw that's how he got that's how you got your hands on the DC Mini, was you sold your body. And that's, and then, the Oedipal thing was another thing about repressed sexuality to me in a way.
The Oedipal thing the Oedipal thing was confusing to me because he's like, you're controlled by the chairman. You really are an Oedipus. But the Oedipus wasn't really controlled by anyone other than like maybe fate.
I don't think it was necessarily.
Me and Lucas looked at each other and we were like, is that?
I don't think it was a reference.
Textually correct? What?
There's that word again. Textually correct.
Textually within the context of Oedipus.
I don't think it was a reference to Oedipus.
It was.
No. Not Oedipus the story, but Oedipus as the figure for the Freudian theory. The
Oedipus complex. Even in the Oedipus complex, no one is like in control of you.
No one's in control of you necessarily, but it's like somebody who's like a slave to their like kind of fucked up sexual desires. Like,
yeah, but he doesn't have fucked up sexual desires. He's basically just being guided by someone else.
I mean, you can kind of make a guess that he's been a
stretch to say that no. But see, it's a painting of Oedipus himself.
I know
he is Oedipus. He's becoming Oedipus, and she's the Sphinx.
I know.
It's the actual myth, and I don't see the connection there.
I get it, but I think it was more in reference to like it's the more modern interpretation of like the Oedipal complex rather than like the actual Sophocles play.
But
I see it as so. Where does he?
Why would they use the Sophocles play visuals? And
it just
and
makes
art.
Because so he does say,
and then but see, even then, even if it is the modern context of the Oedipus complex Freudian sort of sense, it still doesn't really make sense to me in his relationship to the
I'll
chairman.
I think it was one, just like a backhand in the moment. But two, to me, like
they animated it. That was probably a week of animation and writing.
No. I mean, I'm talking about in the plot wise. Like, even if it wasn't used for a larger theme, it could just be like, of course you would be like. I'm just gonna use this as a diss.
But does it mean anything?
To me, he was somebody who was ashamed of maybe not only his sexual desires. Well, yeah, in a way, ashamed of his sexual desires and just like so hell-bent on having control over these beautiful things because he was so ashamed of his like, I guess, like bending to the whims of the chairman and like selling his, body to get this DC Mini for the chairman. So I don't think the Oedipus complex is necessarily like a one-to-one metaphor, but I think it's a pretty recognizable like example of a shameful sexual myth / desire. Like the play is about a shameful sexual act, and the theory in psychiatry is about like shameful sexual desires. And so for somebody who, when she was like, I can't believe, like, you're just a jealous boy controlled by this, and, like, you sold your body for this. He was like, shut the fuck up. Like, he got
mention the
angry.
body thing.
Huh?
She doesn't mention the body thing.
Not
She
the
just
body
mentions
thing.
how he's that he has no will of his own.
No,
he's under control.
Paprika says you sold your
that's
your body.
That's like 10 minutes earlier or 10 minutes later.
But that's when he gets. Yeah, that's later. But like,
in the comment that she directly makes in that scene is,
but she knows by that point.
You are controlled by the chairman. You're a jealous boy controlled by the chairman or whatever. You really are an Oedipus. It fits you.
I don't know. To me, I think it was kind of more of a, like, I mean, you could even put that as like a parental figure in a way, to like, you're controlled.
I could maybe see that.
You want to please the chairman so badly that you'll do anything he asks. In the same way, like, you want to fucking kill your father to fuck your mother. Like, you know what I mean? In a way.
But even that, Oedipus didn't know any of that shit.
But that's the play, not the theory.
I know, but they're
the theory.
They're acting out the play.
But in reference to how would they act out the theory, dog?
But you could just in that context, in that scenario, you could just have something different and be like, wow, like you're just like Oedipus. You're a slave to your own will, which
why would she bring that up out of nowhere? Like, it makes sense that, like,
I don't know why
this person. There's a bunch of art on the wall. She jumps into one of them. He shows up as Oedipus, and she's like, "LOL, of course you'd be Oedipus." Like, I don't know. I think it's functional. I think it makes sense. But also, like, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say 99% of the time, like, Oedipus is brought up in media, it is in reference to the idea of fucking your mother, not
That's true.
the play itself.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
But in
So, like,
all other media in which Oedipus is brought up, it's brought up without direct imagery in reference to the myth itself.
I think the direct imagery was there because it was just a painting on the wall that she decided to jump into, and because of that direct imagery, she spawned the metaphor or the analogy through that direct imagery. I don't think she was out here thinking the whole time, this dude is Oedipal as fuck. I think she jumped into a painting, noticed that he was Oedipus, and was like, this dude Oedipal as fuck. I think the metaphor...
what that sounds like to me is if they jumped into a painting and she became Theseus and he became the Minotaur, and she said, or no, let's say she became the Minotaur, he became Theseus. And then she said, wow, you really are confused, just like Theseus.
Yeah.
Yes, which makes sense in the context of our modern context of a labyrinth.
Yeah.
But Theseus wasn't confused.
But it's not about that.
I know, but see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, in that context, like, okay, but that's not the relationship that Theseus has to a Minotaur. That's the context that we think of when we think of labyrinth.
Yes, but also, like, he's just a person as well, especially the fact that they all work in psychiatry research and psychotherapy. So, like, he is not going to default to the understanding of Greek literature. He is going to default to the understanding of psychiatric analysis. Like,
but they're both talking in the context of literature. He talks about the Sphinx. She talks about
it's an illusion. It's a reference, but like it's used.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But it's just like
illusion.
You've created a fucking labyrinth, and not the one with bisexual rock stars. Like, it's not about the movie. It's about the person's understanding of a labyrinth, but they're using the illusion of the David Bowie film or Jim Henson film Labyrinth.
But it's contrary to the context of the what we're visually presented with.
We're visually presented with an alter ego that exists in a dream world jumping into a painting and becoming a sphinx. Like,
yes,
I think it's safe to say that when she makes a reference to that, we're supposed to see it as the psychiatric analysis of it, because it doesn't matter. Like, the visuals were a reference. Like, it was a reference point for her to come up with this psychiatric analogy. But like,
okay, I shouldn't be addressing that then.
She was jumping into a painting. She was not jumping into the story of Oedipus. The movie was not trying to give us the story of Oedipus. Like, she just jumped into
No,
a painting
you're right.
and she used
It's assuming that we know. It's assuming that we understand.
Of course it's assuming that we know. And it makes
Yeah.
sense that we would know, and it makes sense that the characters would know as well because they are, in fact, psychoanalyst researchers.
Yes.
Or psychoanalysis researchers. I don't know. I think that was a bunch of nothing to get us anywhere.
We both... Fair enough is what I will say. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, you're just textually incorrect.
Yeah.
So what's going on there, Jarrett? You doing all right? You doing all right, dog?
Yeah, I'm just vibing.
Vibing. That's cool. Did you come up with anything you wanted to say about this?
I think it doesn't matter, in that he is simply referring to the fact that in the play,
Oedipus tries to impose free will, but he can't, and that he succumbs to fate in the same way that the whatever his name was, Osanai. He tries to act.
Can you hand him your microphone?
in the same way, Osanai, he acts like he's a hot shot.
Wait, can you pull
Yeah.
your mic away? Pull your mic away. No. Jarrett, can you pull your own mic away?
In the same way that Osanai acts like a hot shot, but at the end of the day, he is just a cog to fate with the chairman. He just does what the chairman says. That's what I took the Oedipal
has
thing
no
as,
control.
'cause I was like, wait a minute, he didn't fuck his mom. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's probably loosely Oedipal.
He has no
Yeah,
control.
you should have jumped in earlier, dude. Saved me a bunch of breath for absolutely misinterpreting it.
and save me from not seeing that obvious. Okay, that makes
Dude,
or
both
not obvious, but like that makes it. He does.
Ian, what's it like to be a fellow clown, dude? Jared over
I
here just
mentioned
being
fate
like, I'm
before.
not smart enough to talk
I mean-
about Paprika, and then absolutely fucking just like bodies us on this
yeah.
interpretation.
It was about fate. He didn't have control, just like Oedipus didn't have control over his fate. Oh, fuck. Okay.
I completely looked over that part of the fucking play, dude. Oh, God. We suck, Ian. We suck. I mean, mostly me, but...
Mostly me, yeah.
Also, did you guys notice the, well, I don't know necessarily how big of a fan you are, Ian, but I know, Jared, you're a fan. You noticed the Kurosawa reference? Come on. You had to have seen it.
Too.
It's not like a hidden reference. Like, it is plain as fucking day.
Are we talking about a scene, or are we talking
Not
about
in like a bad way, not in like a... It is a whole scene. It's a reference to Akira Kurosawa.
5 minutes later.
I don't know, man. I'm blanking.
Ian, you have any idea?
I've only seen 2 of his movies.
Have you
but
seen a
it
picture
doesn't-
of
I
him?
can't. Huh?
Have you seen a picture of Akira Kurosawa before?
Oh, is he the professor?
No.
Then no.
So that whole scene in the theater, when the what's his fucking name? Sorry,
Cop man.
Konakawa, yeah, the detective is going back. I think it's like his second or third time in his own dream, and he's like screaming on screen, and like, you know, Paprika's like encore, you know, in the audience, and he comes out and he talks to her, and so she was like, why did that clown like mention like a line of action or pan focus? And he's
See, what you're thinking about there is reference to Siskel and Ebert.
no. I know. Yeah. No. So he talks, you know, that whole scene where he's like a line of action, you know, and he explains the 180-degree rule. I mean, he calls it the line of action, which is what the line is called, but you guys have heard of the 180-degree rule in film, probably more commonly in like Western film.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're not supposed to turn a camera more than 180 degrees. So in the film, he explains it as like, when you have a shot of this character, you don't want to cross the line or go 180 degrees because when
keep
he
on the same side.
yeah, when he shows that, they're both looking the same direction. He's like, it's an awkward cut. He's like, so you cut this way to where they're looking at each other. So you never want to, two cuts. Now, I say never because plenty of films break this rule, either both in just like being an amateur or also like in a way of like groundbreaking film or like, you know, bending the rules to serve a thematic purpose. But either way, he's wearing sunglasses and like a captain's hat. He's dressed in like the classic Akira Kurosawa getup, and Satoshi Kon said he was like really inspired. He loved Kurosawa. He actually says that he's not very familiar with Japanese film except for Akira Kurosawa.
See, I said when that happened, I was like, I feel like I don't know why he's wearing this. I love it, but I didn't piece that together. Yeah, because like most pictures have like that. Damn.
I have another film reference which I think is relevant. Sure. In the part where old man, I keep calling him professor, but he's not a professor. You know, older doctor guy.
Chief,
exactly. When the chief and tight ass business lady, Paprika,
Chiba.
Yeah.
Don't call her Paprika, cause
you know what.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're running away from. They're like when they're walking through and they see the big doll. They think they're in the real world and they're like, "Oh fuck, this is a big doll!" And they're running away down the hallway. One of the things that they run by is when the ground collapses beneath them is a giant pink elephant.
Yeah.
Just like in, I don't know what movie it is, maybe Dumbo, but like the Disney film with in the dream sequence with the
Dumbo.
Giant with the pink. Is it
Dumbo?
Yeah, with the giant pink elephants. I thought that was pretty.
Or Winnie the Pooh, the Heffalump movie. Either one.
They have both. Both of them have it.
Yes, Disney reuses the same like.
Intelligent.
So like
But
you see a lot of the same movies.
I remember mentioning that to Lucas.
Yeah.
And saying like, "Ooh, pink elephant." That's like from another dream thing from like another movie.
Actually, it wasn't from a movie. It was from the Bass Nectar song, "Pink Elephants."
That's a Bass Nectar reference. I know that guy.
You know Bass Nectar?
Yeah, I used to do mushrooms at his concerts.
Seriously?
No.
Also, Jared, I do want to ask a question. This might sound like so fucking dumb of me, but like, what happens when you put like, or you might not know this, but what is the connotation when you put Chan after someone's name? Because I know there's like San, I know there's Kun, I know there's Chan when you're talking to a person, and I know it can negate, like, I'm assuming San is like somebody who's like an authority figure, and Kun is like somebody intimately familiar. What's Chan? Like.
Stop me if I'm lagging.
They never do.
My understanding is San is like a respect, sort of like you're addressing somebody in a respectful way, like they are a mentor or a teacher or somebody who is older than you. And if you add Chan or Kun, it's like a sort of like playful, like we're on the same level. I think you're cute. You know, it's a more established rapport. That's my understanding. I don't know how accurate that is.
Okay, that's what I assumed, and I didn't know like how, you know, it was exactly, but that's early on when the very first time you see Fatso or Tokita with Atsuko, he calls her Atchan or Atchan, and she's like, "Don't fucking call me that." And like later at the end when he's like the robot, she was like, "It's me, it's Atsuko, it's Atchan." Like she references herself, like. I think that was cool, like showing like the formality and shit, and like I think that feeds back into what we were talking about earlier. I liked the fact that like when the chief wakes up from his dream, the first time when she saves him by like sucking his dick, pretty much, or literally blowing him.
Yes,
it's like I felt like he wakes up and he was like, I felt like I was close to controlling the world. Which I think is really interesting and a nice little subtle hint that it's the chairman, because the first lines we hear the chairman say is like, science and technology should be controlled by man. And so the fact that like the feeling of the dream, even though the dream is like an amalgamation of a bunch of people's ideas, was like control in a way. So I think that was like cool as fuck. My favorite thing that blends actual reality with this film, and like why I say like this movie is like a conversation about media, and Satoshi Kon like kind of catches himself in the middle of that. So you know that scene where they figure out pretty much that it's the chairman, and they think they've woken up, or Atsuko thinks she's woken up, but it's still the dream.
Yeah.
And they're driving in the car, and it was raining, and it had stopped raining, and there are the water droplets, and she's like, every time that a new person comes in, like their dream is absorbed until it creates one big, dream pretty much.
Yeah.
And you see the little water droplets like run together and like create another water droplet that drips down and then picks up more water with it. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that part.
On the windshield, like two water droplets, they'll come together to create a heavier water droplet and fall, and like they'll pick up the water along with them.
Yeah.
It just cuts away, instead of just doing like a normal talking shot, like it cuts away as they're talking about that to the windshield of like these water droplets coming together and creating bigger water droplets. Whether you remember it or not, like it's pretty much mirroring what they say.
Yeah.
So that was not initially in the script nor in the storyboards. He was storyboarding, and he was just going to do like a 2-shot of them in the car, and was like, he noticed that he, the windshield and like put some rain on there, and he was like, yeah, I was in a taxi coming home from a bar or a restaurant or something one night, and it had just rained and it had stopped raining, but there were still like water droplets left on the car. He's like, I saw them come together and like trickle down and create more things. And he was like, oh my God. And I remember them talking about that in the movie. And he was like, I have to use that idea. And I think not only is that really cool, but also at the same time, if you look at like dreams that they talk about in the movie as a metaphor for creation, right? Because of, our relationship to media. And it's like, a movie is never one person's vision. No matter how much you subscribe to auteur theory or how big the director is or how much control they have, especially with animation, it's the work of hundreds of people a lot of times. Like, and every single thing that they do, even though Kon is known for being involved in every part of the process and being super detailed about, like, his storyboards are not basic storyboards like most people. Like even Miyazaki doing like rough storyboards, like they look almost like the final product when he storyboards. Like he spends so much time on them. And so like if a movie is all these people coming together, and the fact that like he's already talked about being both Hoodlum Kon and Satoshi Kon, and like the whole Paprika and Atsuko thing, like there's one side of me that just wants to use every fucking idea that I have, and there's another side of me that wants to like, no, I'm going to make like a good film school film, like in the way, and use all the techniques and shit. And so like he just is talking about randomly seeing this little water droplet thing happening and reminding him of the scene. He's like, isn't it cool that they're talking about this, but it's also happening in the natural world, where he doesn't even realize that he as a person, Satoshi Kon as a director, is doing the same shit. Just like every idea and inhibition that he comes up with, throwing it into this film to create. And so no matter what happens, like this movie is itself like a dream absorbing other people's dreams in a way. I thought it was just like really fucking neat. And you could see, it seems kind of hyperbolic when he's like, I'm Hoodlum Kon and Satoshi Kon. Like, of course he's going to say that. He's like, in this movie, I'm just throwing every idea in. But who he cites as his two major influences, just as a creator in general, one of the two of them is the author of the book Paprika. Mm-hmm. And back in 98, he wanted to adapt it, but he was like, there's no fucking way I would ever, like, he was like, I want to, but like I couldn't approach him, and like I don't want to touch that. And then they met each other later, like years later at a premiere or something. And so it was the author that asked him, because people have been trying to adapt Paprika since it came out for almost a decade. And so he was like, will you, or it probably even, almost a decade or more than a decade, but he's like, will you do it? So Satoshi Kon was like, hell yeah. But he was like, I'm going to let my inhibitions run free, because the author himself, which I've always been a big believer of this, he was like, he's like, don't take my book and just make the book on the screen. He was like, that's dumb as fuck. And Satoshi Kon also believed that. So they were kind of at an understanding. So he kind of gave Satoshi a free reign. And you see him like laughing it up and the behind the scenes and shit, like making this and being like, I'm going to do all these things. And he's like, I didn't write the story first. He's like, I wrote the images that I wanted the most and then created the story through that. And like anytime I have an idea, we're just throwing it anytime someone has an idea. And that's a huge thing, is even doing the voice recordings. Somebody would, that scene in the circus where all those people charge the cage and they all have the head of the detective.
Yeah.
That was a suggestion by one of the voice actors while they were recording. And so they're like, yeah, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And so they just did it and then had to go back and reanimate. Yeah. And so they had that actor just sit there and record all of these like fucking noises and shit. But then you see the one day, because the two dudes, the bartenders in that club, that online club, the short one was the author of the novel and the tall one was Satoshi Kon. So they recorded their dialogue together, and you could just see when the author was in there, because he's this huge influence and like, you know, Satoshi Kon admires him so much. He stiffens up and he's very like rigid about like what needs to be done, and he's like super hard on himself when he's recording his lines and shit. And you can almost see, and I don't think he intended to present that way. And he even admits, he's like, oh shit, I was so fucking nervous. But like you can see throughout the whole process, watching this behind the scenes, hoodlum Khan show up and be like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And then as soon as this guy walks in here, he's like stiffens up, and like Satoshi takes over and is like, no, you have to make a good product for your hero in a way. And I don't know, I don't think it means anything other than the fact that it's like really, really cool, bless you, to see himself reflecting in the movie that he's making and completely unaware of it. Spoiler, the author loved everything that he did, and he was like, the only thing I was worried about was the music, which he was like, it was fire, which the music was fucking fire. I don't know if you guys agree with that. Like the score, the music.
I hate it all.
Okay, well, fuck you, Ian.
There were parts when the score was a little maybe not disorienting, but it became obvious. It became like a slightly jarring when things would sort of change from one thing to another.
That's fair. I don't see that, and I know we had that same disagreement. Like you and Jarrett were kind of on the same side, or at least for a little bit. I think you might have like changed. I can't remember because I haven't gone back to. But like in Your Name, in the same way, to where like I know you were like that. The fucking music was just so jarring.
It was only in the two instances with the anime songs. Everything else was great.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Ian was just saying like there were certain times, but like I was saying like I didn't even agree with that like necessarily. I thought it was fine. But I think that might just be me, because like if this is the second movie in a row that we've watched to where like the music in certain aspects was like jarring, and I was like, I thought it was fine. Like I feel like I've talked too much. I say that as I talk too much every episode. So. Can't help it, bro.
We wanted to do a snub-nosed podcast.
I felt like I could have taken a backseat on this one, but like nobody was really particularly. I guess that's fair. Nobody was like I wasn't moved by it, and I don't think you guys were either.
No, not really. But it was good. We all liked it.
I think we all liked it. Yeah. So, Ian, do you still feel like it'll be either of our favorites throughout this half?
Honestly, at this point, I'm thinking it.
Well, we haven't watched anything else left.
We haven't watched anything else, but given that the favorites from the last section from the last half were so passionate, all of our favorites were so passionate. And while we all liked this movie, it wasn't any of our passions.
I will say what I do know, because I haven't watched all of the ones on the latter half of the bracket, but I watched a couple of them. And I will say that like at least the ones that I've seen kind of work more as like good movies than they do like, you know, like Letter to Momo for you, or Mirai for me, or Wolf Children for you. So I do think that this latter half of the bracket is going to be more, I don't want to say objective for fear of sounding like Ayn Rand, but fucking
objectivist.
But yeah, but I think it's going to be more just like what did we just like, rather than like what affected us.
Yeah.
That's my prediction, because I mean.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I'm going to humbly brag here. I have yet to have a movie that I voted for lose.
That is fair. That is fair.
Then I'm about to vote against Paprika today.
There's
Just
no
to fuck
voting
you
for
over.
this one.
I'm just gonna vote. I'm gonna vote nothing for this one.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Yeah, you know that we have a few more episodes predating this one. We have a couple of outtakes episodes. But other than that, thanks for watching. Interact with this if you like it. The bracket's always available for download. You can tweet us if you want us to talk about something that you want us to talk about. We guarantee you we will file it. That's about it. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. Would anybody like to send us off with the word?
Nakama.
Bonjour.
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 That hurt. That fucking hurt.
Hair.
Call me Peen to the een. I got lovin' in my jeans. Gordita to the crunch.